Hello, my name is Stuart, and I've chosen to work on the Wallybank project as I thought it'd be the most complex and engaging for test users and myself, and closest to the type of project I see myself taking on in a professional career, with the brief requiring an automated process that assists with saving money, in this case a 30% auto-saving feature, and I wanted to actively develop my own style with the challenge of creating a subsection for saving that allowed for custom saving options and goals, whilst the user could still interact with their finances all in one place, as per the personas and design brief stipulations. And before we begin, I just must acknowledge that I've referenced a template for this presentation of the previous student Andrew Bex's, as it's very basic and simple, and we'll get started for the mood board. And for this, I really learnt what it meant to espouse human-centered design, capturing the ideas, values, and principles, and capturing the framework for creating valuable, catalogued assets for the team and creating a vision, with the mood statements to be very evocative of doing so, which I was great to learn about that. And this is the UI flow. I found it a bit counterintuitive as I'm a very visual person, so I had to incorporate the initiative to prototype with low fidelity sketches in tandem to create something of substance, which visualize, which I would very much like to turn this into one of my strengths, given its capacity to structure information architecture as well as create solutions and prevent failures, which did occur on this assignment. And I've used squares for screens, circles for decisions, and diamonds for actions in this architecture. And this is the component library. It's just an extension of the design ecosystem I had been cultivating earlier, creating a design language system, which I broke down into an atomic structure to create cohesion, which really enforced the requirement for inclusivity in the principles of web content accessibility guidelines, with the buttons having neutral and press states, and with using size of elements, text, and use of color and contrast, as well as pervasive iconography to help signal direction. And this is the iterative process. It was just an opportunity for me to coalesce the organisms and the ecosystem, and applying hierarchy and information architecture using proximity and negative space with screen reader for the visually impaired front of mind, which helped the hierarchy and create a bit of context for that. And it really, I worked in tandem with similarity and continuity, applying differentiation as well, which I applied to forms and containers, so everything was quite delineated. There are two instances. The first was an app which failed the first approach, and the second approach iteration was closer to resolving these issues based on feedback I'd received by failing the web content accessibility guidelines. We'll move on to testing. So I work in research and I don't see much qualitative testing, but I was really interested to see the wording of the statements, introduction to the protocol, which I just used my industry knowledge by interviewing people face to face verbatim with questions directed to get the best answers to working on the imperatives of the brief. And on to the next one, and this is the raw user testing data, which I just accumulated and compiled all the responses, which I then synthesized into pie graphs, which is based on coding the statements, and displaying patterns and trends was the prerogative, with multiple comments delineating features for improvement, as well as isolating important quotes. Features with low frequency had of responses were the best performing, I found, which was interesting. And this is the which I then applied to the final prototype, the insights from that research, most notably, I reduced information overload by breaking down the form style with a progress bar for making a one-off payment, as well as improving bank statement accessibility and helping giving the help page call to actions. We'll just go through a walkthrough now of the app. This is the landing page. Based on the feedback, I reduced the size of the account balances to help with discretion for the user, as well as big transfer and pay actions as well. We have an auto saver feature here, as well as a transaction list where people can also download bank statements with the savings schedule and 30% auto saver all in one place. We've got some help topics and the contact access information. We'll just make a payment now. This is a one-off payment screen, different from the recurring payments function. We'll add new. This is the progress status bar. It's broken down a bit more easy to follow. That's a success. We will then head to the profile. In the profile, we can see we can edit the profile for the elements, which people can change their address and whatnot, download statements, as well as having pay ID access function. We will then download a statement. This is a success. We can also go to the landing page and download statements from here. And yeah, so we'll go to the help section. The help section is located here, where they've got some questions, some call to actions for call now and email, as well as a contact us statement. Thank you so much for your time.